Hi, family. I am back at you. It is African Osorenko again, back at you. So, family, I am coming to talk to you today about a very sensitive, highly alarming um, incident and issue that occurred with young brother Terrence Howard. Terrence Howard is a young man, a young African American man or Black American man. That family, he was involved in a minor fender bender and got out the car to investigate and make sure that the other party was okay. And a car hit him, and he received some really traumatic injuries. And the young brother was uh, on life support. And so let me go into this story. And before I begin, family, let me do this copyright. The copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comments, news, reporting, teachings, scholarships, research, and other uh, identified uses. All right, so family, and this is the young man that, as many of you already saw anyway, on the, I'm sorry, this is him here. So this is the young man that we're talking about, okay? Very handsome young man he was. All right, family, so the article says the parents of a young Black man who died last week following a car incident have accused a North Carolina hospital of organ harvesting, according to a series of videos that were posted on social media. And we'll say they allegedly, accused the hospital of this, and I believe there's going to be an investigation. I don't know, it may not, family. Anyway, let me continue. Terrence Howard, a 19-year-old college football player, died on Thursday of last week, more than a week after he sustained injuries after being stuck by a moving vehicle on a highway. All right. So, as I told you guys, um, unsure of the exact scenario that led to the accident, uh, the child's father, who was Bishop Anthony Allen, said he was told that his son went to go render aid to the other driver in the accident when a car struck him from the back and knocked him about 30 feet, the father said, and he landed on his head. Speaking in religious terms throughout the video, the father, Allen, said the situation described to him sounded like something his son would do. He stopped to render aid because that was the type of young man he was, is what his father said. A good citizen. Okay. So Allen said that the doctors at the hospital declared his son to be brain dead and on life support. And aid, he and his family were praying that everything that had happened, he would have recovered. But Allen blamed the circumstances of his son dying on the work of darkness and not the work of God. Uh, he said. All right. So uh, the father said that him and the mother and the family were in the room, and they were exploring options to have how Terrence transferred. This is while he was still on life support. They were exploring options to, consider having Terrence transferred to another hospital, um, because they felt like the hospital was not treating Terrence, uh, you know, during his time in the coma, or his family, appropriate. Okay. And so uh, the parents said that a nurse came into the room to uh, inject Terrence's tube. This is what they're alleging, that a nurse came into the room and injected. It was a white male nurse that came into Terrence's room, hospital room, and injected Terrence's tube, one of his tubes, with some liquid. They didn't know what it was, and they were not given any information. Shortly after that, uh, the nurse or the doctor arrived in the room to pull the plug on Terrence, citing that Terrence was uh, had was deceased. He had died, um, and the parents said that they were not in agreement with the plug being pulled because he was still alive, and that the hospital was very um, adamant about they were adamant about plugging Terrence from life support, and there was a huge issue. The family refused, and then uh, they the mother was trying to revive Terrence during this, telling him to to wake up, to open his eyes. The girlfriend was in the room. I think his sister was in the room, and the mother and father. And when the hospital came in, because the parents refused to allow this, they called security, and they had the family who called law enforcement, and they had the family removed from the hospital. Okay, so ultimately the young man died. Okay, so the family is very upset, and they're saying or alleging that they believe that the hospital attempted to take this young man's organs. He was an organ donor, and they attempted to take his organs, for someone. So, family, I don't know how it went, and I don't know that if there's any proof that the hospital has done this. But let's say this, family, we know the history and the medical bias in America, don't we? We know that, right? Absolutely. And since we have that information as to the history of America, as related to medical biases and how uh, they do things, or have been not only alleged, family, have been determined to have done things to Black people medically, then how hard would it be? I mean, I don't know. You know, I'm not a medical personnel, and I'm not, you know, saying that I am advocating to be one, but I'm just using logic sense, family. I'm just using logics, my brain. You know what I'm saying? So using my brain as you can use yours, you know, along with the history of this country and what has happened to Black people in America medically. Okay, we know all of this stuff. We know about, I believe her name is former slave Sarah Bonner, and how they took her, they took Sarah, and they committed all kinds of experimental things on her body, because it was thought she had, a larger butt, as Black women do and always have had. And so, all of those things, there were different things that were done to her, committed against her own will. We know that there were slaves, and forgive me for lack of information right now, family. There was a slave female who was raped by her very own master. Her, and because she, her white master, and because she killed the man, because he had raped her, she was given the death penalty. There have been children. Look at what they did with the children. They have, uh, even up till now, family, in 2024, things are going on. Okay. Um, you got to think about the Tuskegee experiment. We have to think about all of these things that has occurred in America against Black Americans or black people, freedmen, you know, we have to think about all of these things or these crimes that have been committed against them. And then we have to say, is it feasible that this could happen in a hospital in America today? I don't know. Like I said, family, I'm not a psychic. I am not a doctor. I am not a, you know, I don't work in the field, a field with the coroner. I, I'm just, I don't know, family, but we have to just use logic is all we have to do. So I will say this: I am sending my apologies, my love, unconditional love, and prayers to his family, because in watching that video, it was very, very hurtful and traumatizing, because you can tell that that family, that mother and that father love their child, unconditionally. And for whatever happened in that hospital room, um, my heart goes out to the family. That's who my heart goes out to, because I'm a mother and a grandmother, and I definitely do understand and sympathize. Family. Family, I'm gonna say this: as Black people in America, both freedmen and immigrants, or Black people that are um, born here, first, second generation, I would say, family, be very mindful of becoming a donor. Be very mindful if that is something that you feel that that aligns with your values and everything, and that's what you want to do. Then, family, I would say you can do it. You have that right. But I would be very mindful, family. I would be very mindful. I would love for someone to do a maybe like an investigation on percentages of Black people that receive organs in America. I would love to see that. You know what I'm saying? Especially when we have had, situations where Rockefeller, I think, had like several, several, 8, heart transplants because he had a bad heart. I don't know. My dad needed a kidney. You know what I'm saying? Uh, my children's father needed a kidney. Okay. Uh, I don't know anyone who I know personally, or have, or someone knew through someone that needed a kidney, that got 8 kidneys, or 7 if they failed, and they got another one and another one and another one. I don't know. I don't know if that's just for the rich, or how that's working. But I'm just saying, family, we have to use our logic, and we have to use our good sense that we were given. Okay. So, family, as I said, our prayers go out to his family. We're praying for them. Rest in heaven, young man, Terrence, till you meet your parents again. And, family, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please come back, like, share, subscribe. And I thank you so much, family. I thank you for blessing me with your views. Have a good one, family, and be blessed. Bye bye.